I'm sorry that had to happen to you. Coming through alright with you? It's alright, I'm late. You can adjust the volume until then. How's that? I'm pretty sure it'll change when everything like starts to mellow out. I don't know why it's like so heavy rock. It's pretty funny. Like you wouldn't be doing that if I was in there, if you were in my position. What's Envy's Steam? I'm gonna add her. I don't have her added on my list. mean no sound. Hi, Andy. Why is there a picture of Lenin? Because apparently this game was made in Russia. There's actually an English translation. So, let's get started. Welcome to my little special stream. I never thought I would be doing this, but we are playing a dating sim called Everlasting Summer. I was having that dream once again. What? Makes sense, I guess. That dream. Same thing every night. But that's all forgotten in the morning, as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Whoop! Crap. World. Only a glimpse of memory will remain, of gates half opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. And also that strange girl keeps asking me. Will you come with me? Come? Don't make this weird. But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, if it all happened in real life, I would certainly be... Certainly would have been scared. Okay. What else would I expect to feel? But this is just a dream. Same one I see every night. It's rather strange. I would probably get bored of that dream. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real. As real as things in my own flat. I can open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hand, inhale the fresh, cool air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. Oh, don't tell me you're that lazy. But this is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Because here it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against the static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? Yeah, that'd be a good thing to ask her. About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I was called a tittle. But the dot over a J is called a superscript dot. Okay. Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? That's a very good question. Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway. I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellanic clouds. I don't know if I said that right. As if I ended up in the southern hemisphere. Oh yeah, this is totally making sense. And a dream, there are the small things that catch your attention. The unnatural color of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection. While the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. Pretty sure he hasn't seen The Matrix. I know it for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point in living? I should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the owl, for example. Owl? What owl? Oh, I did not see that right up there. Whoa. It's kind of freaky. Strange bird it is. One strange bird it is. Though it doesn't matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer. It's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end, and I will never wake up. Well, what if you don't want to wake up? Alright, now's your cue. Every time I come to that point where I have to choose something, I'm leaving it up to you guys. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much in my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. How's it sound for you guys? Can you hear that alright? I told you the music would be like lower since it's not like hard rock. What the hell are you looking at? The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Oh, crap, I didn't. Stupid window. Sometimes it really did seem to me, if it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. As if in our relationship this screen wasn't an instrument. It was me who was a lifeless piece of plastic and textilite. And we were just getting started. There is some truth in that. Probably because of the computer. Probably because computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Dude, you need to go take a walk. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. You don't know that. I mean, I'm talking to two other people right now. Or am I? Is this gonna screw me up? Is this gonna make me so paranoid I'm not gonna know what's real and what's not? All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination. An error in the source code of a kernel bug started living a life of its own. Oh, wait, hang on. We got a message. On a side note, unfortunately, Chicken can't join us because her internet went out. The hell was that? Oh, it's a ceiling. For a second there, I thought it was gonna be like some creepy thing from some Japanese horror story. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses and maybe write me a doctor's referral to the loony bin. What, no meds? What's the fun in that? A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it. And always the same view out the window on the gray megalopolis. Megalopolis. I'm not familiar with that one. Running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Well, of course it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school, and finished it like all the others. I was accepted at a university where I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well, sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. I wasn't living life to its fullest. I was looping over and over in monotonous circles. Like in the movie Groundhog Day, except I'm pretty sure you wouldn't die and just simply start over. It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself. The same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. For the last few years, I just sat in front of a screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder, really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people are almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, no age. Are you talking to Chatterbot or something? So, in brief, a quite typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of his time. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday-related visions. I love that movie. Maybe some highly respected author will write a novel about me, and will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or maybe I will write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I've tried many times. I couldn't even come up with a simple short story. You're not trying hard enough. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming. Got bored. Foreign languages takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading. But still I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. I think the YouTube life would work out well for you. If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person, and a richer person too. but I doubt it. I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. That's a nice view. Today was another typical day of a typical failures, typical life. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. What's the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate and one of the few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. That's a nice view. I'll say that. I don't mind a view like that. Frosty evening. Bus stop. Waiting. I never liked winter. Though hot summer is not my season either. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. Doesn't matter much what the weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. Dude, you need to go out more. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business? But where would I get the money from? Or maybe I could go back to working in an office? No way! Maybe I should try freelancing. What skills do I have, and who would want me after all? Like I said, you can always try YouTube. I suddenly remembered my childhood, or rather my teen years. The time when I was 15, 17 years old. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass. I always eagerly looked forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest, have some time for the things I liked, computer, football, going out with friends. And then, at the beginning of the next week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there was no such worrying questions like, why? Who needs it? What will change if I do it? And what will not change? A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person, and so odd for myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Aww. Her appearance and personality had vanished from my memory. Oh, it can't be that far back. Oh, hey, Diz. No, her internet went out, so she can't make it. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile. Among with the feelings of which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Now you're telling me. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. No, she's not. She just went to bed. She just told me she was going to bed. probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. What on earth to discuss and how to attract her? Dude, you need to try speed dating. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time. I'm pretty sure all that's about to change. But where could I meet one anyway? The answer lies in that bus. The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. So ethereal. That is an awesome headlight. Streetlights pass me by, as if their cold light sparks inside of me. It's as if there's cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through the fogged-up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they just have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you'll only see his impenetrable darkness. Everyone has easier lives than this guy. Apparently. The bus was approaching downtown and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. Dude, don't be like me. My eyes closed just for a moment, and then 1 week later. Hello. No clue. Given all the descriptions he's in like inner monologues of. Oh my god, was that Pedo Bear? I'm pretty sure that says Everlasting Summer. I can't really pronounce that. I don't know how to read Russian. Day 1. Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention, as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn. Looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there was no door. Wait, what? No door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn out Liaz? Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. Oh, how? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? Oh, if you were kidnapped, I'm pretty sure you'd probably be like tied up and with tape over your mouth or something. No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, banged my forehead against the back of one of the bus seats. It's clear, either I'm alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then what? Did they put me into another bus? I rushed outside and took a look around. You just said there was no door. You're not making sense. Greenery wherever I looked. Tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer! What are you, Olaf? But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if it was going to explode. Slowly, I began to remember. A long road running off into the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? You could have been daydreaming? I don't know. And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. Wait, what'd she say? And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Are you sure that's what you're feeling? Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best way to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran to the direction from which the bus had probably came. Physical exercise does not refresh one's mind. Does refresh one's mind. Thoughts became clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. The exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not just that it was winter yesterday and summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this. Green and hot, but everywhere it's not. But here, everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of Russian landscape artists of the 19th century. The grass was too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They're so thick you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. Caught my breath and looked at the bus, which is now barely visible. That was a good run. That's all you can think of? You're standing out in the middle of nowhere. You can say that that was a good run? Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. You just... I'm not even gonna... Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals? That's so last century. I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods, where this wretched bucket of bolts is the only this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. I should carefully scout the area. A brick wall and its gates crowned with a Sovyanok. Sovyanok means outlet. Sign. Statues of pioneers standing on either side. And a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. The place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Sovyanok. What could have a name like that? Well, apparently someplace in Russia. Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. Wait, what? The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I can try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. We are sorry, we are unable to reach that number. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt in the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint, worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the same kind of bus would take you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. Came up by itself sporadically. Because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? Maybe you drove the bus. You ever thought about that? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. That was only like 5 seconds. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things I've had no time for yet. Dude, you were complaining about like your life had no meaning. You were no. What things were there you? Never mind. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This was definitely the end. But why? This is not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Tears were burning my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries are only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and the bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit, as if terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all this for? I'm pretty sure they would have killed you already. It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. That's what they want you to think. Anyway, for now it seems there's no danger. Until suddenly, the panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples. My hands were shaking, but at least I could clearly think now. I don't know if you're clearly thinking. Right now, there's nothing I can really change. There's nothing I can really change anyway. Okay, whatever. So no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it only make things worse. Until some actual facts appears, there's really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging about here. This camp, of course it really is a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there. Hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them. Hello, wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century. And then again, a girl here. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place, from this bus, gates, statues, far away from this bloody bird with its siesta. Running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. What are you, Freddie Mercury? Running, becoming a pulsar ray, turning into a vestigial radiation, running to the face of the unknown. Running no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Whoa. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent of consciousness. While only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, in particular ensuring the stable functioning of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated, and stop thinking in formal quotes of an encyclopedia, and though my thoughts appeared, one by one, being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky softcover crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived? Do I say something? Do I keep shut? Seriously, that wind is like really annoying. It's shaking the whole house. Yeah. Alright then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange. It looked as if I had just a normal girl right in front of me. Bah, I should never turned here. The woods and fields seemed better. Oh no, things are starting to get a little interesting. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human? Or run away? Or what? Blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing apart from me inside. A little bit more and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with some gruesome contents of my skull. Dude, you need an aspirin. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. She checking you out. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. Nothing. Great then. Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I want to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that this is all actually happening. Everything as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look. You go straight ahead to the square, then turn left. You'll see several small cabins. She pointed to the gates as if I knew what was behind them. You can ask someone where Olga Dmitrievna's cabin is. Derivative on persons? Okay, in this case, Dmitrievna. Got it? Of course I didn't. You weren't paying attention, you're too busy looking at her tits. Well, I've got to go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her, I was something. Ordinary. And all this show with the bus and the travels while awake or asleep were troubling only to me. While everything here is just the way it's supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What, are they doing a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in this square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. A sign near the door said clubs. I don't see it. It says clubs. I was about to come closer. Oh, hello. When suddenly the door appeared. A door suddenly opened, and a short girl wearing a pioneer uniform came out. Her pretty face gave the impression of one suffering for the fate of the whole of mankind with a truly universal sorrow. In other words, you're depressed? As soon as she saw me, the girl froze as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was the best to do. To approach first, or wait until she showed some initiative. Or maybe run away after all. Though this last option was constantly being suggested by my own self-preservation instinct. At least that is what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. And those deductive abilities, or at least their semblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Suddenly somebody jumped out nearby bushes. A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with the USSR written on it. No, it says CCP. See? Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance and was probably younger than both pioneer girls. One at the gates and this girl at the door of the clubs. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as I called her in my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started telling her something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl in turn seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. I would have probably continued to observe her amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. This something turned out to be a grasshopper. Poor girl. The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, as she instantly rushed off towards the place where Lenin presumably made his speech about the workers' and peasants' revolution. That is to say, towards the square. The USSR glanced at me, grinned playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I have absolutely no clue where I am. Besides that, there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. Are you sure those role-playing? As far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from my home. Might even be a different reality. And this was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seemed so real, if a little embellished. I was starting to think that in fact my previous life could have been just a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? I was picking at the cracked paving stones with my shoe and stared aimlessly at the club's building. Just a few more seconds before I have to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass, weeping. I cringed in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all energy for whimpering and self-pitying is used up, the body goes into either hibernation or mobilizes its reserves. Mine seemed to have chosen the second option because out of the blue I found a determination to figure out what was going on. In order to do that, I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world. I followed the path to the left, and on the right side which stood small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. It's a nice campground. They actually looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been a part of its children's organizations, neither the pioneers or even the younger October children. I'm not familiar with that one. I imagine the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake-up call at 6 o'clock, played by a siren. 1 minute to make your bed, then joining formation at the drill square. Or wait, could I be confusing it with something else? Suddenly something struck me on the back. I staggered but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. Whoa, you angry. But all I found was another girl standing before me. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw up off the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it, it looks, let's say, provocative. Yeah. Like all the girls I had met before, this one was rather cute, but her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. New here, are you? Fine. See ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to. She might have stabbed you in the back for all you know. The most interesting thing was that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She didn't give off the feeling of some deadly danger. You don't know that. Except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At least I managed to make it to the square. There was no Lenin on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this had happened. Instead, however, a monument of a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. Letters on the pedestal read, Genda. Is that Genda or Genda? I'm gonna say Genda. Must be some big figure in the party. It looks like he's face palming. There were some small benches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did that girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? I'm pretty sure it was to the left. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Why am I going there anyway? Oh, come on, you completely forgot. Ah, right. I decided to pretend to be normal. So to the right. Through a small grove. I came out to a pier. I must have taken a wrong turn. Hey, wrong way. I turned towards the voice. Whoa! Okay. Things have kind of escalated. The first girl stood before me. And what did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from her pioneer uniform into a bikini. Yeah, things are getting interesting. Well, I still haven't introduced myself. My name is Slavia. Slavia, okay. Actually, my full name is Slaviana, but everyone calls me Slavia. So you can too. Yeah, hey, eyes up. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with more meaningful answers. And what's your name? I felt like she could see right through me. Semyon. Semyon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here a moment? I'm going to change and we'll go to Olga Dmitrievna together. Agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather there was nothing wrong with getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself a little. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. This is some kind of conspiracy. It's a weird one, even too friendly at times. No, it clearly looks more like a random event. Something entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in the pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time, but of all the people I've met, she looks the least suspicious. That's what she wants you to think. She's probably the deadliest one of them all. However, this fact is already suspicious itself. We walked to the square. Whoa. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is this some kind of game they're playing? Ulyana, enough running. I'll tell everything to Olga Dmitrievna. Why do you keep saying her last name? Just call her Olga. Aye aye, Captain. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on with the local residents. Better meet with this mysterious Olga Dmitrievna first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which looked like fat beer barrels while others looked more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. A very triangle house. It looked like an artist's painting. Faded paint, chipping here and there with age, was sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind. And huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It's as if this ramshackle hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs, like some elemental force, were inexorably destroying the troop leader's house. That's a weird description. What are you standing around for? Let's go. Slavia snapped me out of my daydreaming. And stop teasing Lena already. Whoa! Reyna? What? Okay, what was that? Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed, a moment later, the door swung open and Oleana ran out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin. The pig-tailed girl came out next. Don't let it bother you, Lena. So her name is Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Reyna, at least. I'm assuming Reyna might be her ex. Although I don't know why she had red eyes and it looked like a bloody cleaver. I don't know, things might get very ugly. But I don't... Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, "Come." Okay, not making this weird. We entered the cabin. Inside it looked something similar to what I'd imagined. 2 beds, a table, a couple chairs, and simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time it felt home-like and cozy, although this room was almost in the same state of disorder as my own flat. Seems pretty nice to me. Although I do see a whoa, hello. A girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25 years old. Nice eyes. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and a good body. Oh my. At least one thing can keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. You're finally here. Excellent. My name is Olga Dmitrievna. I'm the camp leader. Nice to meet you. I'm Semyon. I decided to talk as if I wasn't surprised by anything that was going on. She came closer. Whoa. What is that poster on the left? Is that a dude with a paper bag over his head? We've been expecting you since early morning. You've been expecting me? Oh, something's not right. Yes, of course. So when does the next bus come? And why do you need it? Yeah, right. Why would I need it? Guess I shouldn't ask direct questions. The people here may react to them quite unlike how I'd prefer. And I doubt I'd get any answers. No reason, just curious. By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address, I mean. I want to send a letter to my parents to tell them I got here fine. For some reason, I had the desperate idea that if I played along, I would find something out. Oh, but your parents just called at half an hour ago. Sent their regards to you. Oh, that's not suspicious at all. Now that's a surprise. So, can I call them? Because I forgot to tell them something before I left. No. Just straight up no. She gave me a sweet, spontaneous smile. I'm getting kind of paranoid. Why not? We don't... I have a phone! I have a cell phone! Then how could my parents make a call to here? I've just come back from the district central town. I talked with them there. Ah, so that's how it is. And can I somehow get to the town? No, of course not. She kept the same smile. Why not? Because the next bus only comes in a week. What? I decided not to inquire how long the troop meter managed to get there and back. I would get no answer anyway. All this time, Slavia was standing next to me and seemed to find nothing odd in our conversation. Oh, we need to find a uniform for you. I've got absolutely no desire to put on pioneer shorts or to wear the ridiculous red neckerchief. I think you should just call it a scarf. However, wearing winter clothes... Oh, yeah, wearing winter clothes in summer isn't a great idea either. Right. Thank you. I wonder if I'm the only one here who finds it strange that someone wearing a coat and winter boots in such heat. Righto, I'll be off then. you can get yourself acquainted with the camp. Don't forget to come to dinner in the evening. Having said that, she walked out of the cabin. No, walked is not the right word. She rushed out. Something is suspicious. I ended up alone with Slavia. I must go too. Got things to do. Aw. Take a walk, look around the camp a bit. See you in the evening. I hope so. If there's no threat or catch to this, then reality, as embodied by Slavia, becomes more and more appealing. For the first time today, I realized that it was awfully hot in here. Although obviously my winter clothes were to blame for that. Are you sure about that? You're not the least bit flustered? I took off my coat and dropped it on the bed. My pullover followed it. I was now wearing only the shirt. You didn't have any pants? That's much better. Now all I could do was follow their advice and go look around the camp. I'll try to find something out in the meantime. Passing the local residential district, I saw a pioneer guy coming my way. Is it me or does he look like Seamus? And it really was a pioneer guy, not a pioneer girl. Apparently there were men even in this kingdom of Amazons. Hello, you're new here. You must be Semyon, right? How do they know who I am? And how do you... Everyone knows already. I'm electronic. By the way, the real one. You can call me that. Electronic was a robot character appearing in popular Soviet film and book series. You look like an exact copy of a school kid named Sergei Cheeskov. Electronic, the real one. Things are going from crazy to completely insane. Alright. Olyana also... Did you just wink at me? Olyana also calls me Cheesy. Cheesy? On toast with... What? Because my last name is Cheeskov. I see. Let me show you around. I accepted his offer as it would have taken much longer to get to know this place alone. Fine, let's go. And no, I didn't. I don't have a 3DS. We ended up at the square again. As if this place was all there is to this camp. Lena was sitting on one of the benches reading some book. Electronic confidently approached her. Hello, Lena. Meet the new guy, Semyon. He started briskly. Hello. Well, you could say we've already met in a way. Yes. She looked away from the book for a moment, glanced at me, blushed, and then went back to reading. As if not noticing that we were still here. Shy one. Alright, let's go on. I was at first surprised that meeting this girl was reduced to a couple of words, but then I thought it was better that way. Electronic's vigorous activity did not fit well with Lena's shyness. Let's go. We came to a building which I instantly identified as a canteen. And this here, I know, this is where you consume organic food. Yes, something like that. On the canteen's porch stood the unfriendly girl who hit me on the back earlier. At the sight of her, my joking mood vanished in the blink of an eye. Really, now is not the best time to be pulling this guy's leg, even though he is quite hilarious. Doesn't seem quite funny to me. Well, we'll find out some more later. First, I need to figure out what's what here, or at least where I am. Her over there, That's Alisa Dvachevskaya. Dvachevskaya? Be careful around her. He spoke in a whisper. Dva means two in Russian. The whole nickname sounds like in Russian reference to RU anonymous image board. Don't ever risk calling her Dvachek. She doesn't like that. What did you say? What did you call me? She must have heard him. In the blink of an eye, Alyssa jumped down from the porch and dashed toward us. And the music's getting really intense here. Alright, we'll manage on from here onwards. Electronic took to his heels. What? You just left me here? Should I stay or should I go? Stay. Elisa, running past, stopped for a moment and growled. I'll deal with you later. I don't know if I should be scared or turn on. Deal with me? What did I do wrong? I added a forced, guilty smile to my words. But what am I guilty of? She made no reply and carried on chasing Electronic. I'm just gonna call him Tron. Looks like I'll have to kill some time waiting for dinner. I decided to go east, at least in the direction where east would be in my world. Soon after, I found myself near a football pitch. A game was in full swing there. I guess watching it for a bit wouldn't do any harm. In my childhood and teen years, I was not a bad player myself, and even thought of going professional. But a few injuries in a row killed my desire to risk my health for the sake of uncertain chance in the game. Ouch. What would happen to him? Kids of different ages were running around the pitch. I could see a boy of about 10 and a girl of about 14 years old. Girl? Hey, that's Oliana. Alright, so she plays football. So surprising. She seems a restless one after all. I was standing quite far from the pitch, but she still noticed me. Hey, you! Oliana shouted. Wanna play? I didn't know how to answer. On one hand, running around for 10 minutes is no big deal. On the other hand, any wrong move in my situation could be my final one. But in any case, my attire wasn't suitable for this weather. If I played in winter boots and warm jeans, I would sweat like a pig. And playing barefoot without jeans would be simply unethical. Maybe another time, alright? I shouted in response, turned around and walked back. I was followed by Oliana's screams about my pants, or about me being a pansy, or something like that. Evening was falling, making me feel tired and empty after a day wasted with no real purpose. I came back to the square, sat down on a bench, and gave an exhausted sigh. I'd better sit here and wait for dinner. After all, it's easier to search for answers when you're not hungry. They do give food to people here, right? You know, it's curious how the simplest human needs can break the will to ponder on things, to strive for something. For example, I feel hungry now, so I care much less about where I am or what's happening to me. Could great people also be affected by this? In that case, how did Spartacus start the slave uprising in ancient times? I can only conclude that I'm not a great person, and it does not really matter which mechanism I serve as a gear in society, the Matrix, or a weird pioneer camp. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of bells chiming from a loudspeaker on a light pole. That does not sound like bells, it sounds more like a bugle or a trumpet. Must be the dinner call. I headed towards the canteen. It was a good thing that I know where it was a good thing to know that it was a good thing that now I knew where it was. Olga Dmitrievna was why do you always have to say her last name? I'm just gonna call her Olga. Standing on the porch. I stopped and looked closely at her, as if I were expecting something. She looked back at me for a while, but last came closer. Semyon, what are you waiting for? Come in already. I guess nothing bad can happen if I go with her. My stomach backed me up here. Two of us went inside. The canteen looked like canteen. I've never heard of it as a canteen. I've heard of like a snack bar or a cafeteria or something like that. Never a canteen. I had a chance to visit a factory canteen at some point in my life. This one was exactly the same, just maybe a bit cleaner and more modern. Metal chairs and tables, glazed tiles on the walls and on the floor, unsophisticated tableware with the occasional crack. Crack. Like as in fracture crack or the drug crack? Guess that's what... Whoop. Semyon, wait a moment. We'll find you a place to sit. She looked around the place. Dvachevskaya, hold it right there. Olga shouted at Elisa, who was passing by. What? What's up with your clothes? Anything wrong with them? Indeed, her attire looked somewhat provocative. Get your uniform nice and neat right now. Alright, alright. Elisa got her shirt right and walked past, shooting an unpleasant glare at me. So where can we find you a place to sit? There weren't a lot of free seats, so I can see wait. I think I'd see one behind her. Go over there next to Olyana. Yeah, that's fine. Food's already on the table too. I had no other choice but to accept. In the common Russian language, kotleta, or cutlet, is minced meat, fried or baked in the shape of a ball or a cylinder, close to American patties. Compote is a drink made by boiling fresh or dried fruit with a large amount of water. Compote in French. Of course, there was probability that the cutlets were poisoned with curare. Curare? I am not familiar with that one. And the mashed potatoes were generally seasoned with arsenic, and the glasses filled with excellent antifreeze instead of compote. So paranoid. But it all looked tasty, so I had no chance to resist. Hey! What do you want? I replied rather rudely to Olyana, who was sitting next to me. Why didn't you play football with us? Because of my clothes? Said I, pointing to the source of the problem. Oh, alright then. Eat. However, there wasn't much left to eat. My cutlet was missing from the plate. Only she could have done it. No, more precisely, none but Olyana could have done it. Give me back my cutlet. In a big family, you snooze, you lose. It can cost you a cutlet if you're careless. Give it back, I'm telling you. Should I fight? Or should I be civil? It's tiny, you can take her. I looked at her menacingly and was about to reach out my hand. See? I don't have it. And indeed, Olyana's plate was empty. seem that this little girl eats as fast as she steals someone's cutlets. Take it easy, we'll work something out now. He grabbed my plate and ran off. There was no point in following her. If they wanted to poison me here, they could have done it in a much easier way. About a minute later, Olyana returned and handed me a plate with steaming hot cutlet on it. That's a small-ass cutlet. That's a lot of potatoes, though. It's gonna make me hungry. Here's one for the starving. Thanks. It was all I could say. I was so hungry that my suspicions were gone in a flash. I picked up the cutlet with my fork end. Is that a centipede? What the? Some bug? No, not a bug. An insect. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a centipede. It's got legs and it's wiggling. The plate fell to the floor and broke into pieces. The chair hit me hard on my leg while falling. I've disliked insects since I was a child. When these creepy crawlies appeared on my plate, that's just way too much. You little... Olyana seemed ready for such a twist and was already at the door, laughing as if she had just heard a fresh stand-up comedy joke. I dashed after her. We ran out of the canteen. We were just a few dozen meters apart. I felt I would catch this little girl easily. We ran through the square, past the club's house, and ran onto the forest path. I started to gasp for breath. Man, you are out of shape. I should have quit smoking, I guess. What? You smoke? Olyana passed out of sight in the next turn. It can't be true that she managed to get away from me. It simply can't. I stopped and tried to catch my breath again. Night was falling. Looks like I'm lost. Now things are gonna start turning for the worst. It was a bad idea to stay in the woods at night. Better get back to the camp. However, I had absolutely no clue which way to go. Well, gotta choose at random. You're lost. I wandered for quite some time into the forest and even thought of crying for help, but suddenly I saw the camp's fence beyond the trees. Everything fell back into place. The bus is gone. I mumbled quietly. On the one hand, there was nothing strange about that. The bus couldn't just stay there forever. On the other hand, it meant that there was someone driving. Because buses do not drive themselves. Or do they? This world seemed too normal. But every event here had at least two explanations for it. An ordinary, real, and everyday explanation, and a surreal one. Certainly the driver could have just been off for a snack and I left too soon, and that's why. In any case, this is not the place for me. Whether that bus drives itself or not was probably an important question, but it was much more important to know how I had got here at all. And where this here was. The fields, the woods, stretching towards the horizon, had no answers. There was nothing familiar about them. A strange, odd, and alien world. However, at the same time was absolutely not frightening. Either my self-preservation instinct decided to resign from its job, or all this running around the camp and the local pioneers had lulled me in so much with their carefree normality that I was simply forgetting what had happened to me just a couple of hours ago. Although I thought probably just had no strength left to worry. All I wanted was some peace, calmness. I wanted to just have a break from it all. And only after that would I continue looking for answers, ready and reloaded. However, that would be some time later. And what about now? Can I allow myself to relax? It got completely dark, and in any case it was better to spend the night in the camp. I was about to head back when someone came up silently from behind. Whoa. Hello. What are you doing here so late? It was Slavia standing before me. I was so surprised that I jumped. I see that smile. So you didn't catch Aliana, did you? She smiled. I nodded disappointingly and sighed. No wonder. No one ever has. Yeah, she's a real rocket girl. She could have found a better use for her energy than looking for adventures. You must be hungry. You didn't manage to have dinner after all. Indeed, I had completely forgot about my hunger, but after these words of hers, my stomach drew attention to itself by giving a traitorous rumble. Slavia smiled. Let's go then. What, is the canteen still open? It's alright, I have the keys. The keys? Yes, I have the keys to all the facilities in this camp. Dinner for two? Well, I am something like the camp's leader's aide here. I see. Well, let's go. It wasn't an offer you can't. It was an offer you can't refuse. Oh, no, I'm not gonna refuse that. When we reached the square, Slavia stopped in her tracks. Excuse me, I should warn my roommate that I'll be late. She's so punctual herself that she'll be worried otherwise. You go into the canteen. I'll come in a minute, alright? Alright. I really did not expect to find somebody aside from myself there at such a late hour. And that somebody was apparently trying hopelessly to open the door. Without any secret thoughts, I walked up onto the porch. The lockpicker turned out to be Elisa. Uh-oh. I probably should have kept off and waited. She looked at me intently for a while and said, "Don't just stand there, give me a hand or something." Meaning, help me open the door. Why? Because I wanted some buns and kefir. Dinner wasn't big enough. Is that really a good idea? Aren't you hungry yourself, huh? Aliana didn't let you have a normal dinner, did she? She smiled sarcastically. It's true, she didn't. It's fine, Slavia will come now and... What? Oh, boy, that's a scary face. Guess I shouldn't have said that. I'm off then. And you'll pay for this. What? You owe me two already. Having said that, Elisa disappeared into the night. And what was the first one? Good question. Slavia didn't keep me waiting for too long. Is everything alright? Yeah, why are you asking? No reason, it's nothing. It would be better if I didn't tell her about Elisa. Hey, I'm not doing it intentionally. Everything's fine. I said that and immediately heard a note of dishonesty in my voice. Well, shall we go? As for Slavia, she seemed to not have noticed anything. Or at least she was pretending that she hadn't. We entered the canteen. Wait a bit, I'll go get something. I sat down in a chair and obediently waited for my savior. My dinner was simple, a few buns and a glass of kefir. No wonder, I bet hungry pioneers finished everything off. However, even that was far better than most of my usual diet. Slavia sat across the table and looked at me while I was eating. Is there something on my face? No, just... She smiled. She's starting to like you. How'd you like your first day in the camp? Well, I really don't know. It's silly to ask someone who suddenly found himself in a different reality whether he liked the food in the canteen, the camp leader, or his assigned hut. It's alright, you'll soon get used to it. Slavia stared out the window dreamily. It doesn't look like dreamily, it looks like something caught her eye. Frankly speaking, I have no desire to get used to such things, but as for her, she doesn't know. At least she wants me to think that she doesn't. Well, all in all, it's nice here. I had to somehow break the awkward silence. Do you think so? She asked without any interest. Yeah, this place is so... I wanted to say retro, but I managed to hold that back. After all, it was retro for me, but what about them? It might be the only kind of life they knew. If the term life was applicable here at all. So how? She watched me closely, as if something important depended on my answer. Well, I don't know. Lovely. Yeah, it's lovely here. I guess you're right. She smiled again. It's very good that you think so. And what if I didn't? Why? Well, not everybody likes it here. And what about you? Me? Yes. I love it here. It's great. You don't need to worry about what other people think. Well, I don't really worry. Slavia laughed. This conversation seemed to be leading me far astray from where I wanted to get to. And yeah, I would say that too. And you're worried yourself. Really? Why do you say so? Well, when someone's just chewing so intensely. I'm sorry. It's okay. I couldn't bring myself to be more cautious around this girl. Why her in particular? Why not any other local inhabitant? Every one of them looked completely normal to me. Precisely normal. So normal it sends chills down my spine and into my marrow. Normal, not like a neighbor with a power drill in one hand and a subwoofer in the other. Not like a passenger you can often meet in the subway or on a public transport. Not like a coworker at the next table in an open plan office. Not even a friend who only differs from other humans in his consistent and constant insistence. All of them look normal, as I would expect them to be, with their own downsides, without any superpowers. And Slavia was also cute. I glanced at her stealthily, not knowing what to say. I'm sorry, I wanted to show you the camp, but I was ran off my feet. That bothers me, but I didn't miss anything. Well, on my own, I guess. Are you sure you haven't missed anything at all? He smiled so brightly, I had to drop my eyes in confusion. Well, how would I know? It's my first day here. Okay, what have you seen so far? I've seen the square, this canteen, the football field, and what about the beach? Just from afar. You really should go there, or let's do it together. It's a date. Yeah, okay, you will. Her naturalness started to scare me, but then I thought, what if everything that happened here is how it's supposed to be, and this world looks strange only to me? All for them, it is normal? Maybe I was thrown into the past. Yes, that would explain a lot. Can I ask a stupid question? No. Slavia smiled and stood up from the table. It's late. Can you find the way to Olga Dmitrievna's by yourself? Of course I can, but why should I go there? She'll settle you with someone. What for? Probably this question seems stupid because Slavia bursted into good-natured laughter. Because you need to sleep somewhere, right? That makes sense. Of course it does. We're gonna sleep on the bench. Fine, I'll be off then. Good night. Night. It's strange she left in such a hurry. Bundle of keys left in the door lock caught my attention. I was going to catch up to Slavia, but where does she live? And knocking every door in the middle of the night didn't sound like a bright idea. Take the keys or leave them there. I think if I leave them there, Elisa would probably see them and break in. Take him, alright. I'd better take him. I'll give him back tomorrow because who knows what happens here at night. Such thoughts gave me chills. It's me who needs to be more careful here in the first place. The night, though dark, wasn't silent at all. One could hear chirping insects, the songs of the night birds, and rustling trees from everywhere. A sudden desire to follow Slavia's advice and go to the camp leader's cabin appeared. I don't know why, but the sight of the unknown Braz builder of communism put me in a constructive mood. I sat on the bench and started to recall everything that happened today. That was all my constructive mood could offer. Here was much brighter than near the canteen, and tardy pioneers were running by, so this place didn't seem scary at all. Bus, summer camp, girls, apparently a guy named Electronic. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. A girl. Reading a book. Well, it's probably Lena. Called it! Lena. I decided to move closer and talk. She was the only new person I had met here without exchanging even a few words. Hi, what are you reading? Lena was so surprised that she even jumped. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Never mind. Never mind? No, it's okay. No, you jerk. Leave me alone. She blushed and stared at the book again. So what are you reading? On the cover was written, Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Praise the book or shut up. Bone her. I don't know, Slavia is kind of doing good on me. Who knows? Good book. Thanks. She might be too shy for her. Honestly speaking, I haven't read it, but I think there is such literature suits her very well. Lena didn't seem to be interested in continuing the conversation. Maybe she's playing hard to get. Well, if I'm bothering you... No. She answered while still looking at the book. Can I sit beside you for a while? Why? And really, why? Maybe I was just very tired and having company is better than being alone. And maybe I wanted to try to find something about her. Maybe you want to bone her? I carefully examined Lena. How carefully? But no, I doubt that. Oh, I don't know. Am I not allowed to? Feel free. Sorry if I'm bothering you. No, you're not. I can leave, just say. Everything's alright. Okay then.